as we head through the day today, guys.
You know what else? I'm just thinking this now. Earlier this morning, we had a countdown clock for the Bills playoff this Sunday. I'm thinking we need another countdown clock. And just to keep the positivity up, exactly. Countdown to spring.
Yes, I'm ready for that.
I have no idea how many days away that is, though.
It may be too depressing. The number may be too large, and it says, no, I don't want to see it. Let's put it away for now.
That is probably true. Either way, we appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
A brewery in downtown Rochester recently earned a spot on a national list. And you've probably been there, Steph, to have a drink or two, have you?
I have, yeah. Now, they're called Strange Bird Brewery, and they're among the top 30 breweries in the nation. So our Chris Lopez is there live this morning, finding out, well, what makes them so great. Hey there, Chris.
Hey, what's up, guys? All morning long, we have been delving into the process as to how Strange Bird has won so many different awards. We've really only been looking at a few pieces of the puzzle when it comes to their beers. Now we're going to be kind of delving a little bit more into the different kind of beers that they serve here. Eric, I want to start off with you. There's a lot here, and you guys said you have so much more. You change them throughout the season. What am I looking at? What am I about to get into?
We try to be as diverse as possible. We really have, there's no style or type of beer that's off the list. And Mika can tell you what he poured here in order.
Right, so this is Bird Light. This is our American lager. This is our very approachable light beer, thirst quenching. It's gonna be great on a hot day or any day. Sly Move, this is our best-selling beer, 5% IPA. It is a crowd pleaser, a lot of citrus. Deco, our amber lager, it's our winter lager. We make it during the winter season. Series, a fresh hopped IPA. So these hops were added to the beer within 7 days of harvested and kilning at the hop farm. Bear Fight Stout, 10% ABV Imperial Stout. And this is Western. This is a very special beer. This is a black lager that we're all drinking right now. We use a special faucet, the Lucre faucet, that we colloquially call side pull, and it produces this dense foam that is drinkable, that you can drink it. And we like the foam on all these beers. Foam adds a different character of aromatics to the beer, and it provides it enhances the experiences. When you see a beer at a bar and there's foam, a nice layer of foam on top, that looks appetizing to us. That is what we want. So foam is your friend. These beers you can get all of these beers here at Strange Bird at 12 o'clock today. Please come on by.
And I have the entire team with me. I have Ellen to the left, have Amanda to my right. I've, of course, been talking to Mika all morning, Eric all morning. Now, I want to start out, Ellen. What do you think separates you guys from the other breweries just around the entire state of New York?
I think it's about the experience in general. You walk into this space and not only is it aesthetically pleasing and comfortable to be in, but our staff is really highly trained. They're a fantastic group of people that we really enjoy having present our product. So we get to build the experience, and then our coworkers are in charge of facilitating the experience. And beyond the beer, I think that's what sets us apart.
And I want to go over to Amanda. You were saying experience. You've been brewing for 10 years, you would say? So you've worked at other places. What's it like working here in comparison?
It's great. I like Eric said, there's a large diversity of beers, so we get to do a lot of different things. You know, some places will do, IPAs sell really well, so you'll have a bunch of IPAs. Here we do a lot of different things, and it's a lot of fun to brew and experiment across the board instead of just focusing on one style.
And Mika, we haven't gotten to it yet, but why Strange Bird? Why the name Strange Bird? Where'd that come from?
Oh, that's a good question. Brewers, I think by nature, are dog people, and my dog was doing something particularly strange one day, and my wife said, "That's a strange bird," and it rung a bell. Then the next day we started the process to trademark the name and attach it to this business.
And you guys I was talking to you guys earlier, truly like artisans here. I've been to other breweries. You guys are very much artisans here. The way you guys speak about brewing beer is truly special here. And you can get your beer at Wegmans, and then you can come in here. Is it any online sales or anything like that?
Yeah, you can find us online at our website, strangebirdbeer.com. Yeah, we're Wegmans. There's a number of awesome bars that you can find us at around the city too.
Nice.
But please come to our space. Come see the experience. Drink. We really take pride in how we deliver the beer. The glass is very special. The whole experience here, I think, is elevated from maybe another brewery. So I really encourage people to come on out and try Strangebird.
And it's not, and you guys also, we're going to be getting into it. They also have the food. We're going to be getting into that with the chef in the next hit. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss that. Look at this flight, man. Back to you guys in studio. I'm going to finish this off.
It looks good. I really question, though, how anyone that works there gets any. There's always a new one coming up. Whoa. They're always brewing more. Looks delightful.
Yeah, can't wait for
Breakfast
that
of Champions.
All right, thank you, Chris. Well, turning now to our poll of the day. It's been very cold in our area, and we've been getting plenty of snow, that's for sure. So we wanted to ask you, how are you feeling about the winter that we've had so far in Western New York?
Your options. You're either loving it, you're feeling until spring.
That's me.
That's me, too.
Yeah.
But, you know what? And we're just going to go like this real quick. Hey, Siri, how many days until spring 2025?
I'm going to say 70 or maybe 68.
70 days, 7 hours, 59 minutes.
Well, that is a great guess. Something
That
else to
was
look forward
very
to.
good, Steph.
Yes.
Very good work. We do want you to weigh in, though, on this poll. Take it away.
Yeah, go to our X account. Use that QR code that you see here right now on your screen. Use your smartphone to get there. We want you to vote. We also want you to comment. We want to hear from you, and we'll share that coming up very soon.
Hey, we're going to have the results of those poll for you again coming up at 9:55 this morning. Don't miss it. And still ahead in our next hour today, a day of national mourning for former President Jimmy Carter. We're going to be giving you a live look at the scene this morning and how the country is paying its respects. All that and more after this break.
And hey, don't forget that you can watch us on the go wherever you are. We're streaming live on the 13 WHAM YouTube channel. We're back after this. Welcome back. Today is a national day of mourning, with America paying its respects to the 39th President, Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, we're going to give you some live images here. I think we'll start with the U.S. Capitol building this morning, where the former president was lying in state for the past several days there. This all part of the services that go on for a president when they pass. Just a really beautiful image there this morning. We know that his coffin, or his casket rather, has been moved from that Capitol building, and it will be making its way to the National Cathedral, the Washington National Cathedral, this morning, where services will get underway today at 10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, that's happening just a little bit over an hour from now in terms of the travel. That casket will be heading towards Washington National Cathedral again for that service. Now, you may remember, of course, on December 29th, that Carter had died at age 100.
Yeah, quite a lengthy life there, and a really storied career, both in and out of office. Of course, the Camp David Accords, 1978. And then after that, I mean, the level of humanitarian work, his work with Habitat for Humanity, it goes on and on and on. And he often talked about service, the importance of service outside of the office, rather than just, you know, the way we see him as a president, as a former president. Very down to earth, coming off as a very down to earth human being, somebody who a lot of the nation very much respected.
Yeah, you kind of took the words out of my mouth, but a lot of people have been remembering him as someone who has redefined what life after post-presidency looks like, you know, for example. And it wasn't just him, but also his wife, Rosalind, as well. They dedicated their time and energy together for Habitat for Humanity, but also with the Carter Center as well.
Yes.
Established after his presidency, 1982, to really help with humanitarian work on a global scale.
Yeah, absolutely. And you brought up his wife, and I think it's something to be very proud of for that family. And I know you covered it earlier this week, and correct me if I'm wrong, 77 years the two were together. Really such an incredible marriage. And he finally went and joined his wife, as you mentioned, just about a week and a half ago. So really something remarkable there. Again, storied career. This is something we'll continue to follow for you. I'm wondering, though, going to ask producer Hannah if we can pull up Washington, if we can
National
get one
Cathedral?
of those, yeah, if we can get the cathedral live shot back up here, just to see what that looks like this morning, because we do know that heads of state globally will be in attendance. Former presidents will be there today, delivering a eulogy there today in honor of the former president, President-elect Donald Trump also will be in attendance. We will also see President Obama and President Bush, as well as President Clinton, there today. It's really going to be something incredible and an incredible honor for the Carter family in his honor. Earlier this week, there was another funeral held in his hometown. And the vice president delivered the eulogy there. I'm wondering if we can just pull up some sound from that, because it was a really remarkable event.
He served the people, and he left the world better than he found it. And in the end, Jimmy Carter's work and those works speak for him, louder than any tribute we can offer. May his life be a lesson for the ages and a beacon for the future.
And I believe that was actually in D.C. We know that.
Oh, was that? Forgive me.
As he was making his way, his body was being transported to D.C. after a service with family over the weekend in Georgia. And that also, you heard from his son as well there. Family members just speaking out about the great work that he has done.
Really an incredible history. And, you know, he was no stranger to Rochester, New York, little old Rochester, New York, too. Visited the area a handful of times, once on the campaign trail. And then in '83, he gave a lecture at the U of R. Again, made an appearance in 1991 at RIT. Something truly incredible. And again, this is something we will continue. You're seeing here the video from RIT in 1991. Former President Jimmy Carter visiting there. He spoke as part of the Horton Distinguished Speakers Series, reflecting on global challenges and sharing insights from his presidency. Really remarkable career. But again, full coverage of this event. His state funeral will begin today at 10 a.m. That will be carried live on 13 Wham ABC.
That is for sure. So be sure to stay tuned here, but of course also check out there after our show at 10 a.m.
8:18 this Thursday morning. We do have a lot more to come right here on ARC Rochester. Some of the top stories that we are following after the break.
Good Thursday morning. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's your ARC Rochester news break. A Webster bowling alley is expected to be closed for the next several weeks after a late-night fire. Crews were called to Bolero on Empire Boulevard just after 9 last night, where they found a fire in the ceiling. We're told crews were able to get that fire out quickly, but additional support had to be called due to the size of the building. Hundreds of people were inside at the time, but no one was hurt. Testimony resumes today in the trial of a man accused of killing a Rochester taxi driver last year. 36-year-old David Lee Porter is charged with murder, robbery, and criminal possession of a weapon in the death of David Treese. Police say Porter pistol-whipped Treese and shot him multiple times during a violent robbery last April. Porter then allegedly stole Treese's cab, crashed it on Central Park, and fled that scene.
It's going to be our position that the defendant in this case was so intoxicated by drugs that he couldn't form the intent to commit the more serious crimes in this case. And that's what we're really going to be focusing on, the fact that he had been under the influence of Molly, heroin, crack cocaine at the time. And it'll be seen in some of the actions he took to show how intoxicated he was.
The evidence that I've want to put before the jury thus far has come in without issue. So if that's, confidence or measure of confidence, then the trial is going as I had hoped it would. So, but anything can happen, obviously, as we move forward.
Now, prosecutors say the attack was captured on camera, but the defense argues Porter's state of mind at the time could be a key factor in the case. President-elect Donald Trump is seeking help from the Supreme Court just days before Trump's legal team has requested a delay in tomorrow's sentencing in its criminal hush money case. Now it comes after an appeals court refused to postpone it. Trump was convicted last May on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records related to a hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels. He denies any wrongdoing and is not expected to appear in person if sentencing proceeds as scheduled. The judge has said Trump will not face legal penalties. Trump's legal team is also urging a federal appeals court to block the release of special counsel Jack Smith's report, which details attempts to overturn the 2020 election. His lawyers argue that the report serves only to undermine the president-elect's executive authority. The Department of Justice has already announced it will not publish one of the 2 volumes which addresses Trump's alleged mishandling of classified documents. A Florida judge has temporarily blocked the report's release, but that decision could still be overturned by the appeals court. A former FBI informant who falsely accused President Joe Biden and his son Hunter of taking bribes from Ukraine has been sentenced. Alexander Smirnov was sentenced to 6 years in federal prison after pleading guilty to 4 charges, including tax evasion and obstructing justice. Smirnov admitted to falsely claiming that a Ukrainian energy company made payments to then Vice President Biden and his son, who was on the company's board. He will also pay the IRS about $675,000 in restitution for tax evasion. Another massive port strike along the East Coast has been averted. The International Longshoremen's Association has reached an agreement with the U.S. Maritime Alliance, the 2 sides agreeing to a 62% wage increase over the next 6 years, along with protection against automation, which the union believes could cost jobs. The deal averts a strike that would have started next week and impacted more than a dozen ports from Maine to Texas. The 6-year deal must still, though, be ratified by union members. Now, for all of these top stories and any updates, be sure to visit 13wham.com. Stick around. Ark Rochester is back right after this.
morning. Thanks for sticking with us here on ARC Rochester, 8:28 this Thursday morning. I'm Dan Schrack.
And I'm Stephanie Joseph. We've got a lot more to get to this morning. But first, though, let's get a check of the forecast with our friend, meteorologist Marty Snyder.
Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah, it's a cold start to the day. We're seeing a few snow showers out there, but we're going to lose what's left of any of the snow showers, and we'll likely gain a few breaks of sunshine as we head forward. So overall, positive trend. Still a chilly afternoon for us. It's going to be tough to really get temperatures to move all that much. Mainly in the teens now. We'll get up to 24 heading into the afternoon, down to 17 tonight. Tomorrow, notice numerically we increase up to 28, but still, again, a cold afternoon, maybe a little bit of sun early and then more clouds. Could see a few snow showers on Saturday, and then temperatures briefly get into that near freezing range Sunday and Monday, but then drop back into the 20s Tuesday and Wednesday. So overall, when you look at the big picture, just tough to really get these temperatures to move all that much over upcoming days. Today, like I've been mentioning, I think the best news is we'll see more breaks of sunshine make a return as we go through the day. Still chilly, but at least some of that sunshine works back in, guys.
Marty, we were talking earlier this week, and correct me if I'm wrong. I might not be remembering the number right, but I believe we were like a foot under typical snowfall for this time of year. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was
right around there.
Right around that amount. If I could find it real quick, I'd probably give you an updated number on that.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, let's see. We're actually now with what we have seen, we're 7.2 inches below average.
Okay,
so
because
we did see a little bit yesterday.
I'm wondering, over the course of the next 7 days, with the temperatures where they are, we're likely not going to see any melt. Is what's going to fall? Is it gonna? It's not going to be an inch a day.
Not going forward, no.
Okay.
We might see some accumulation going into Saturday. That's probably our next good chance of seeing at least something. But what's left today, that's in the process of tapering off, so we're losing that. Tomorrow looks mainly precipitation free. Then heading into Saturday, that's when we could see at least a little accumulation during that time frame. Not a huge storm or anything, but at least some. So that'll be our next chance.
Just winter is what it is.
Just winter. That's, just January for us, right?
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, we do want to continue our coverage this morning of those disastrous and deadly wildfires in Southern California.
Yeah, that's up to 6 wildfires now going on there, and at least 5 people have been killed.
It's really, really devastating stuff. I believe we do have a live image of some of those fires still burning. You see there, KCBS, KCAL providing this live picture of, again, one of 6 of those wildfires. It has now forced about 130,000 residents from there have burned and likely will continue to burn because we know crews are working around the clock, fire crews working around the clock. You see this image here. They're pulling out, really giving you a better scope of exactly what people are experiencing, what several communities there are experiencing in Southern California right now. Again, 6 wildfires burning in LA County.
That is for sure. I mean, we've been seeing reports from there, a lot of people dealing with those flying embers as well. A lot of reporters there on the ground. You're seeing the smoke. The smoke that's out there, because at the end of the day, once these fires eventually stop burning, I know many of them are not even contained, 0% contained at this point, that people are going to go back and there's still that air quality that they have to deal with.
That is a major factor. And what's really feeding and fueling these fires is those embers brought on by the Santa Ana winds. We're seeing gusts in Southern California anywhere between 80 and 100 miles an hour. And those carry those embers, some of them the size of baseballs, from one neighborhood to another, from one home to another, spreading those wildfires. That's why there are 6 now. Late last evening, there was still, I believe, just 5. And then overnight, another fire broke out, wreaking havoc on communities there that are no stranger to sites like this. But in LA County, this is record-breaking for them.
Yeah, that is for sure. We did have the chance to speak to a few Rochester natives that are down there right now. We have some sound from someone named Anthony McCall. I believe he's from the Greece area, just talking about it looks apocalyptic over there. Let's see if we can hear.
It's just crazy right now. I mean, even just a few embers with how strong the winds are. Right now, they got like 45-mile-an-hour winds. The gusts have been crazy. Everything's closed here.
And it's not just regular people that are being impacted by this. There are a lot of Hollywood elite because of the neighborhoods that it's burning in. Malibu, in particular, actor Steve Guttenberg was stopped on the street when these fires were raging in his neighborhood, I believe just yesterday. And he spoke with a reporter live at a scene.
I haven't seen anything like this in my entire life, and I don't think many people have. At 9 o'clock in the morning, it was an idyllic Pacific Palisades. And then by 10 o'clock, 10:30, the sky was dark. It was as if it was nighttime. It's just, nobody could imagine. You never imagine in a crisis, your town, you never imagine getting hit by a car. You never imagine anything bad happening. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, the images that we've seen come out of there, people abandoning their cars, just going on foot. We had some sound even yesterday in our show from someone who was like, I don't even know where I'm going, but I just decided to just keep walking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you had those construction vehicles at one point clearing freeways, clearing roadways, just moving abandoned cars out of the way. People would make it so far, realize they couldn't go any further in a vehicle, and would decide they have to go on foot. Wondering, Hannah, if we can bring back up that live image. Those pictures from California at this hour are really telling quite a story just of the disaster and the destruction and the threat that continues to linger as those flames move toward the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah, I want to turn back and see if we can pull up sound from Natalie Montoya. I believe she is from the Webster area, evacuated. Tens of thousands of people are under those evacuation orders. She had mentioned the air quality that we were talking about before and the concern about that.
The air quality in our area, that was like the big concern for us, because I know in Glendale it was reaching I think it was 291 parts per million, which was a bit more hazardous for us. So I kind of just wanted to get out and get some fresh air.
Yeah.
The number of fire crews out there, our heart goes out to everyone in there, but I can't imagine how unbelievably grateful those residents are for those fire crews, for that aerial support. There was video out yesterday, I don't believe we have it here, but of those firefighting planes going out over the Pacific, picking up water and bringing it back inland to drop it, only to continue that cycle. And again, it's so hard to contain something like that. I believe you mentioned 0% contained as of this morning because of those strong winds, just feeding those flames, fueling that fire, again, destroying neighborhoods where people once lived. There is nothing left. Truly incredible images out of there. So something we will continue to follow for several days and likely the coming weeks as they work to rebuild. Estimated cost of damage right now, I believe the AP reporting somewhere in the $55 to $60 billion worth of damage so far, and again, 0% contained.
Yeah, for sure. And as Dan said, we will continue to follow this story, of course, as people try to rebuild, or maybe they're not even in that process as they try to evacuate at this point right now. But again, stay with us here on ARC Rochester. We're back right after this.
8:39, welcome back. A local brewery recently earned some national recognition, Steph. Strangebird Brewery is among the top 30 breweries in the U.S.
Yeah, it's located in downtown Rochester. Strangebird, of all feathers, together with their craft beer. So we go live to our Chris Lopez, who is there for us this morning. Chris, wanted to know really quick, do you happen to know what list that was? The top 30 list?
The top 30, I forgot who it was according to, but it was according to two separate sources where I found it. But they are top level for the beer and also top level for the food here. I bring in head chef Nate. What are we working with this morning? This looks amazing right here, especially the wings, my friend.
So this is some of our best-selling food items here at Strangebird. Right here we have our buffalo wings, deep fried and then tossed in our smoked maple buffalo sauce. So we take maple syrup and smoke it, mix it with a couple different hot sauces and some butter, and just emulsify it all together.
And then the burger. Burger looks tasty. I've had the fries before. The fries are incredible, but the burger I haven't had. You said it's a bestseller here?
Yep, the burger is our best-selling food item. It's a 6-ounce smash patty. And then on top of it has like a bacon onion jam. So it has rendered bacon, caramelized onions, some vinegar, some sugar. And then on top of that, it has some melted cheddar cheese, some shredded lettuce, and then this like bread and butter pickle mayo we make. So we make bread and butter pickles and just blend it together with mayonnaise.
And then the pizza, another bestseller. You work with someone that I'm going to be featuring next week, Pizza Wizard Brian from Pizza Wizard.
Yeah, so this is our best-selling pizza. It's called the Pepperoni Pete. Pepperoni Pete was going to be the original name for Pizza Wizard, so I thought it'd be a little homage to him.
Very nice, very nice.
So this has our fresh tomato sauce, mozzarella cheese, fresh ricotta, pickled peppers we make in-house, and then it's finished with truffle honey, Parmesan cheese, and herbs.
You've been working here?
A little over 3 years and change.
How's it been like? What's the atmosphere like here cooking for so many people?
It's good. It's just it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I've been here on a Friday night. It was absolutely cracking in here, and it's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of orders you have to get to. You guys look busy back there. Mika, what should I pair some of this with? Nate told me you can't go wrong at all.
You can't go wrong. When I'm drinking and eating here, I love a little hop flavor with a pizza with a red sauce. I think the hops and the play really well with the sweet red sauce. Yeah, so try that. When you're eating wings, whenever I eat wings, I want to drink a lot of beer. It's kind of like a competition. How many wings can I eat? How many beer can I drink? I don't know. Let's figure it out. So the Bird Light is a great option for that. And the burger, what kind of beer are you feeling, really? Here you go.
What should I pair that pizza with?
That, Sly Move.
Boom.
5% IPA, just a very nice citrus,
That's good
aromatics
stuff.
and flavor.
That's good stuff right there. And then I do want to talk about while I'm eating this this platter that you guys make. What makes it? You guys have won so many awards in 2024. What's next up for 2025?
Oh man, I can't tell you that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. You're gonna have to come here and find out.
We are gonna have to find out. And you guys have won something with the World Beer Cup, national awards as well. Your pitch, someone who's never tried Strangebird before, why should they come down here?
Yeah, if you like food or like beer, I think you can find a place at Strangebird or find something interesting and compelling at Strangebird. The people that work here are just truly good people. We will take care of you here. I think you'll have a good time. The experience you'll have at Strangebird, I think, will be memorable. And that really is very important to us, to create memorable experiences.
Check them out. I can't touch the mic anymore. I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio. Phenomenal stuff, from the beer to the food. They absolutely captured this here. Very much, you are dealing with savants when you go to Strangebird. Back to you guys in studio. 10 out of 10, guys.
Oh, it looks really good. I've had it myself. Well, Chris, I gotta ask you, are you flats or drums for the wings?
I'm sorry, what was that, Steph?
Flats or drums for the wings?
Sir, drums. We'll go with flats.
Okay,
We'll
I
get
like
we'll get the flats in there.
Yeah.
See,
We'll get the flats.
I prefer feathered and flapping. That's just me, though.
Way to make me feel good about myself.
Thank you, Chris.
And coming up here, it's a new semester of learning how your student can best achieve their goals this year. We're back after this. Well, the new year is a time when many people set their goals or resolutions for the year ahead. Now, this is even true for students, especially if maybe the first part of the school year didn't exactly go as well as planned.
Yeah, all the more reason to start. Susan Starron joins us now from Sylvan Learning Center with some tips for parents and students to get back on track after the holiday break. I feel like we're, a full week in now after the holidays, Susan. Thank you so much for waking up and coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Same to you.
New Year.
So for families who are saying, okay, listen, the first semester and second semester are not looking so great, what do we do to make ourselves whole again before the end of the year?
Yes, you know, this is the time of year to really evaluate kind of your situation. You've had the first whole semester, to really see, is my student on track? Are they struggling in something? This is the time to kind of face the reality that if they are struggling, we need to make some changes, whether that's academically, whether that's social emotionally. You need to be able to really take a hard look with your child to be able to say, what do we need to do differently so that we could have a good second half of the year. You know, at Sylvan, this is one of our busiest times because families kind of realize, something needs to change and maybe we need some extra help in order to help us get to our goals. But if you do want to set some goals at home, it's really important to kind of work with your child and set what we call SMART goals. And that is specific. So not just, I want to do better in school, but I want to improve my math grade. I'm going to try to make a friend in a class. I'm going to take a risk and do a new activity. So be very specific with your goals. Make them measurable, not, by the end of the school year, but for younger kids especially, goals need to be very kind of short and sweet. maybe make them even on a weekly basis or a couple weeks out. As kids get a little bit older, you can extend them a little bit more. They need to be actionable. What am I going to do to improve my math grade? How am I going to do that? Are we going to work together at home in order to study? Am I going to make sure I'm not missing any assignments? Am I going to stay after with my teacher? Am I going to go to Sylvan? What are the steps that I need to take in order to make some actionable change?
It's a lot of questions, Susan.
It is.
Lots to think about.
I know.
And I know that it can feel like you get really bogged down in terms of, oh, I can't get this math problem, or, oh, I don't even know what this question is even asking me for. How do you recommend you go about those measurable goals?
You really need to kind of evaluate what are your options. Is your teacher a good resource? Do you have a family member that maybe can help? Do you need some outside support with a tutor or a teacher like at Sylvan? You need to see, what does your child need? How can you work together with them to try to solve this problem? An important skill for kids is problem solving. So learning to do that with their own needs and their own struggles helps them get through things and learns that resilience to be able to solve their own problems and be successful too.
Good advice. Susan Starren, thank you so much for your time, as always. For somebody sitting at home, where do they go to learn more?
You can always call us at Sylvan. We're always glad to help.
Perfect. And we'll post the contact information and much more on our website, 13WHAM and foxrochester.com after the show.
Now, when we come back, your ARC Rochester news break, some of the top stories that we've been following this morning.
Good Thursday morning. Thanks so much for sticking with us. I'm Dan Schrack. This is your ARC Rochester news break. A Webster bowling alley is expected to be closed for the next several weeks after a late night fire. Crews were called, you see here, to Bolero on Empire Boulevard just after 9 o'clock last night, where they found a fire burning the ceiling. We're told crews were able to get it out quickly, but additional support had to be called in just because of the size of that building. Hundreds of people were inside at the time. Thankfully, no injuries were reported. Testimony resumes today in the trial of a man accused of killing a Rochester taxi driver last year. 36-year-old David Lee Porter is charged with murder, robbery, and criminal possession of a weapon in the death of David Treese. Police say robbery in April. Porter then allegedly stole Treese's cab, crashed it on Central Park, and fled from that scene.
It's going to be our position that the defendant in this case was so intoxicated by drugs that he couldn't form the intent to commit the more serious crimes in this case. And that's what we're really going to be focusing on, the fact that he had been under the influence of Molly, heroin, crack cocaine at the time. And it'll be seen in some of the actions he took to show how intoxicated he was.
The evidence that I've want to put before the jury thus far has come in without issue. So if that's, confidence or measure of confidence, then the trial is going as I had hoped it would. So, but anything can happen, obviously, as we move forward.
Prosecutors say the attack was captured on camera, but the defense argues Porter's state of mind at the time could be a key factor in the case. President-elect Donald Trump is seeking help from the Supreme Court just days before taking office. Trump's legal team has requested a delay in tomorrow's sentencing in his criminal hush money case. This all comes after an appeals court refused to postpone that. Trump was convicted last May on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records, all related to a hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels. He denies any wrongdoing and is not expected to appear in person for sentencing if it proceeds as scheduled. The judge has said Trump will not face legal penalties. Trump's legal team is also urging a federal appeals court to block the release of special counsel Jack Smith's report, which details attempts to overturn the 2020 election. His lawyers argue that the report serves only to undermine the president-elect's executive authority. The Department of Justice has already announced it will not publish one of the 2 volumes, which addresses Trump's alleged mishandling of classified documents. A Florida judge has temporarily blocked the report's release, but that decision could still be overturned by the appeals court. Another massive port strike along the East Coast has thankfully been averted. The International Longshoremen's Association has reached an agreement with the U.S. Maritime Alliance. The two sides agreeing to a 62% wage increase over the next 6 years, along with protection against automation, which the union believes could cost jobs. The deal averts a strike that would have started next week and impacted more than a dozen ports from Maine to Texas. The 6-year deal must still be ratified by union members. And for all these stories and any new developments, head over to our website, 13wham.com. Stick around. ARC Rochester returns right after this.
morning, 9 o'clock on January 9th. Thanks so much for joining us here. I'm Stephanie Joseph.
And I'm Dan Schrack. 9 o'clock here on ARC Rochester. We've got another packed hour this morning, so we're going to dive right in with our next guests. The sounding of the snack alarm going off in the break room this morning because Girl Scout cookie season officially arriving. And this morning we are talking about how you can find your favorite, which cookie flavors you won't find maybe later on, as well as some details on the Girl Scout camp opportunities happening this summer.
Yeah, a lot to get to. So joining us now is the Girl Scouts Product Program Manager. That's Amber Benoit, along with 2 junior Girl Scouts, Paige and Aria.
Good morning to you all.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We're happy to be here.
Thank you for waking up, and thank you, more importantly, for bringing the goods this morning. First and foremost, I have to ask, do we have favorite cookies down the line?
Absolutely. I like the Adventurefuls. They are a brownie cookie with caramel sea salt in the middle, and they're amazing, especially if you want to make them as a s'more.
Oh, that's an idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then Paige?
I like the peanut butter patties.
Oh, those ones are in there, right?
They
yeah, right on the top.
Yeah,
okay.
Don't worry, I got them for you.
Yeah, here, I'll hold those ones for you. I'll hold those ones for you. And Aria?
I also like the Adventurefuls.
Oh, those are good. They really are.
But before we even get to the cookies, we know that the Girl Scouts do amazing work overall, just helping young girls get ready and prepared for out there.
Yes, absolutely. It's one of the largest girl-led entrepreneurial programs in the world. We're building girls of courage, and every cookie package that you purchased, it goes towards that mission. The girls are out there selling cookies, and they are using their proceeds to fund all their activities. They're looking in their community and saying, what can I help with? And then they're using their proceeds to accomplish that. They're going to Girl Scout camp. Which is just a great opportunity as well.
Now, Paige and Aria, I gotta ask you, what is your favorite part about being Girl Scouts? I'm sure the cookies are a big factor in it, but there's more because I see we got a lot of pins and badges going on. So we'll start with you. What's your favorite part?
One of my favorite parts is like camping trips.
Yeah?
That we get to do. I love doing that because we get to do a lot of activities.
Very nice.
That's great. How about you?
I also like doing things like Girl Scout camp.
Yeah?
That's a big theme in our troop. In fact, the girls decided to create their own camping trip as a troop, and they did it at one of our local camps in Fairport, Piperwood. We did they decided what they wanted to learn. We learned about fire safety. They built an amazing lean-to. It was more glamping by the time we were done because of that. But
listen, if you can build the structure, go for it. Glamp away. Can we talk about some of your badges and your pins? Is that okay?
Yeah. You guys remember what we did to learn these? We've done a lot.
Yeah. There's tons.
So in our troop, they're very focused on helping animals. We're really focused on learning about budgeting. So like this one, we make a troop budget every year for our cookie program. So the girls decide this is our goal, how much we want to sell, and then they budget accordingly of what they want, what expenses they're going to have as a troop, which is amazing for a 10-year-old to learn.
Sure.
We've done snack badges, right? Do you guys remember what we did with that?
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun.
We made like smoothies and we learned recipes. We explored recipes. Do you remember what we did for this one, the gardening one?
We were planting.
Yeah. We learned all about garden making and what plants to go in the garden.
It looks like there's a first aid one on here too. What was that one for?
Do you guys remember that? That was our hiking one. What did we do on it?
We went around and we got a kit that has Band-Aids and things we would need if anyone got hurt.
Very cool.
And then what did the parents do on the hike?
Did the parents get hurt?
Yeah,
they got hurt. And the girls had to perform first aid too.
Listen, you were there to rescue them. That's important. That's important. Let me ask for summer camp, because registration is coming up, correct?
Yes.
What do people need to know? It's going on right now.
Yeah.
Somebody sitting at home who says, you know, my kid wants to do this. How do they get involved?
So you want to check out our website, gswny.org. It'll have all the information about our summer camps. But our summer camps are really amazing. They give the girls the chance to do a lot of outdoor activities, crafts, arts, and the staff there is just they go above and beyond. Like, I can't even explain. My daughter went this summer, and I had no worries about sending her. And we have several camps across Western New York. We have one in Fairport, which is Piperwood. We have Windy Meadows up in Lockport. We have Seven Hills in Holland, and then we have Timbercrest in Randolph.
No shortage.
So there's plenty of opportunity. Some are day, some are overnight.
And there
even a
is
family
no
camp.
shortage of locations to get Girl Scout cookies.
Yes.
Where can we find them?
So Girl Scouts are going to be selling Girl Scout cookies now through March 30th. You can find your local Girl Scout is the best way to get your cookies, because they're going to be taking orders in person and through their personalized website, which is kind of cool. So they're learning some e-selling. And then if you don't know a Girl Scout, you can go to gswny.org and we'll connect you with one. Or on February 21st, we're actually having this fun tool on our website called the Cookie Finder. You go in, you put your location in, and it tells you where booths are near you, so you know where to go get them, and it'll also give you access to a link to get some shipped directly to you.
Convenient.
It's convenient, but it also sounds a little dangerous if you ask me. There goes the paycheck. It is a very good cause, I'll add. Thank you, all three of you, for waking up bright and early. Are we out of school just for this?
Yeah.
Do we have to go after this?
Yeah.
Are we going out to breakfast after this, parents? Yes. I'm going to make them, okay? That sounds good. We're going to McDonald's or something. Thank you all so much. If you want to learn more about the Girl Scouts, the programming they offer, or where you can get the delicious cookies, head over to our website, foxrochester.com.
And stay with us. Coming up, the Urban League of Rochester is celebrating its 60th anniversary with a Valentine's Day Gala. We're getting a preview of the event after this break.
9:10 this morning. You can spend Valentine's Day this year with an evening of dinner, music, and romance, while also celebrating a milestone with the Urban League of Rochester.
Yeah, the organization's 60th anniversary Love and Legacy Gala will be held February 14th at the Rochester Convention Center. Joining us now to talk about the significance of this year's gala is Urban League President and CEO Dr. Chanel Hawkins. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm just thrilled to be here to talk about our Love and Legacy Gala. It's an opportunity for the community to come out and celebrate 6 decades of work that the Urban League has been providing in this community. We've been helping our community members change, empower them, provide job stability, also making sure that we provide opportunities for entrepreneurs, building affordable housing. It's been a legacy of good work in the community, acting as a beacon of hope, but also a catalyst for change.
It is. In 60 years, I want to talk about the gala, but for someone sitting at home who may be a member of the Rochester community or just in the region, who's heard of the Urban League of Rochester, but they say, I don't know much about the organization. Fill them in.
One, the Urban League has been around for 60 years, so we've got to just mark that. But we are a civil rights organization that provides social service programs, and we provide access for individuals that have been disadvantaged, and we make sure that there's opportunities available for them, and we prioritize equity. And so we do that by providing home ownership opportunities, affordable housing, in Black Scholars programs, education programs. We actually push in and partner with many school districts around the area. We provide opportunities for entrepreneurs to start their business, grow their business. We also interrupt racism. That is our work, the core of what we do, and we prioritize equity. And we have 7 different areas. If people want to learn more about the Urban League, they can go to our website, Urban League ROC. We've been around for a long time, and our goal is to empower our families here right in the greater Rochester area.
Love it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of great work that you all do with the youth in our area. You were kind of talking about it with the Black Scholars Program as well. We've covered a number of events. If you wanted to also speak to that as well.
Yeah, the Black Scholars is such a point of pride for Rochester. When you meet people, where I meet people, they say, I'm a Black Scholars, and Black Scholars has a legacy of more than 46 years of supporting individual students that have made, Black students and brown students that have maintained a B average throughout their high school careers, and we support them with scholarships, and we partner with the community to do that. So Black Scholars is a point of pride for us, but also we've been partnering with our school district to provide academic supports for our students, and that's been a point of pride for us. We've been doing that for a long time. It certainly is the legacy of Bill Johnson, one of the leaders that will celebrate at the Legacy Gala. We're excited about that. We're going to celebrate the foundation that was laid before us, 60 years, and it starts with Bill Johnson and Bill Clark, and I'm honored to lead and continue the great work that has been done for our community. So
Absolutely.
we want the community to come on out and celebrate.
Bill Johnson's such a wonderful man. Such a wonderful
guy. He is a great mentor to me
he really
as well. And he's going to be there. He's one of the co-chairs along with Bill Clark. And the gala is going to celebrate community leaders. There'll be 3 community leaders that will celebrate: Emerson Fullwood, Essie Calhoun McDavid, and a name that everybody knows, Robert Duffy, Bob Duffy, hometown hero. But we're excited to honor their work that they've been doing in prioritizing equity and inclusion and making sure that they help to advance the work of the Urban League and partner alongside the Urban League. So we want people to be out there and join us on February 14th.
For somebody sitting at home, how do they get tickets? What do they need to know? And I want to know, what do we need to wear?
Listen, wear your very best. It is a black tie affair, but I'm wearing red.
Okay.
I'm wearing red. But what's significant about this event is, one, you can go to our website and you can learn more about getting tickets. You can call the Urban League and we'll help you go to our site, Ticket Tailor, and purchase the tickets. But it is our day that we selected to celebrate our anniversary. It's also Frederick Douglass's birthday, but it's Valentine's Day. We want the community to show some love back on the Urban League.
Yes,
show some love for our milestones is an opportunity for us. We're going to have a big unveiling of our vision for the future of Rochester. So we want people to come out and join and learn more about that. But celebrate the milestones. Celebrate how the Urban League has been empowering lives, creating access, and creating opportunity. And it is an investment to purchase a ticket, but it's an investment in the work that we've been doing and an investment for the future of the Urban League.
And it's a perfect date night, too, okay, for Valentine's Day.
If you don't have plans for Valentine's Day,
you do now.
Right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for waking up with us bright and early this morning. We really appreciate it.
I hope to see you and everyone, all of the audience members that are watching. I hope to see them on February 14th at the Love and Legacy Gala for the Urban League of Rochester. Thank you for supporting us for 60 years.
Absolutely. And we'll post all of this information and much more on our website where you can get those tickets, foxrochester.com.
And coming up here, your ARC Rochester news break, the top stories we've been following this morning. Good Thursday morning. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's your ARC Rochester news break. A Webster bowling alley is expected to be closed for the next several weeks after a late night fire. Crews were called to Bolero on Empire Boulevard just after 9 last night, where they found a fire in the ceiling. We're told crews were able to get that fire out quickly, but more support had to be called due to the size of the building. Hundreds of people were inside at the time, but thankfully, though, no one was hurt. Testimony resumes today in the trial of a man accused of killing a Rochester taxi driver last year. 36-year-old David Lee Porter is charged with murder, robbery, and criminal possession of a weapon in the death of David Treese. Police say Porter pistol-whipped Treese and shot him multiple times during a violent robbery last April. Porter then allegedly stole Treese's cab, crashed it on Central Park, and then fled that scene.
It's going to be our position that the defendant in this case was so intoxicated by drugs that he couldn't form the intent to commit the more serious crimes in this case. And that's what we're really going to be focusing on, the fact that he had been under the influence of Molly, heroin, crack cocaine at the time. And it'll be seen in some of the actions he took to show how intoxicated he was.
The evidence that I've want to put before the jury thus far has come in without issue. So if that's, confidence or measure of confidence, then the trial is going as I had hoped it would. So, but anything can happen, obviously, as we move forward.
Prosecutors say the attack was captured on camera, but the defense argues Porter's state of mind at the time could be a key factor in the case. President-elect Donald Trump is seeking help from the Supreme Court just days before taking office. Trump's legal team has requested a delay in tomorrow's sentencing and his criminal hush postpone it. Trump was convicted last May on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records related to a hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels. He denies any wrongdoing and is not expected to appear in person if sentencing proceeds as scheduled. The judge has said Trump will not face legal penalties. Meantime, Trump's legal team is also urging a federal appeals court to block the release of special counsel Jack Smith's report, which details attempts to overturn the 2020 election. His lawyers argue that the report serves only to undermine the president-elect's executive authority. The Department of Justice has already announced it will not publish one of the 2 volumes, which addresses Trump's alleged mishandling of classified documents. A Florida judge has temporarily blocked the report's release, but that decision could still be overturned by an appeals court. A former FBI informant who falsely accused President Joe Biden and his son Hunter of taking bribes from Ukraine has been sentenced. Alexander Smirnov was sentenced to 6 years in federal prison after pleading guilty to 4 charges, including tax evasion and obstructing justice. Smirnov admitted to falsely claiming that a Ukrainian energy company made payments to then Vice President Biden and his son, who was on the company's board. He will also pay the IRS about $675,000 in restitution for tax evasion. Well, another massive port strike along the East Coast has been averted. The International Longshoremen's Association has reached an agreement with the U.S. Maritime Alliance, the 2 sides agreeing to a 62% wage increase over the next 6 years, along with protection against automation, which the union believes could cost jobs. The deal averts a strike that would have started next week and impacted more than a dozen ports from Maine to Texas. The 6-year deal, though, must still be ratified by union members. Now, for all of these top stories and any updates, be sure to visit 13wham.com. Stay with us. ARC Rochester returns right after this.
7:25. Thanks for sticking with us here on ARC Rochester. I'm Dan Schrapp.
And I'm Stephanie Joseph. We do want to remind you a story that we've been following all morning. California is dealing with a blaze of deadly wildfires, taking the lives of at least 5 people.
Yeah, fire crews are thousands evacuate that region.
Yeah, across the state, even those not directly impacted by the flames are fleeing and seeing its effects. And this morning we are talking to Julie Ariano, a Rochester area native, about her experiences. Julie, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Julie, where are you currently?
I'm in Riverside County. I'm about 50 miles outside of Los Angeles.
And I imagine even from that distance, you're seeing and smelling a lot of that smoke as those wildfires, those 6 wildfires burn this morning.
Yes, we're affected in different ways, obviously with the smoke, but you know, a lot of our neighbors, thankfully we haven't, but a lot of our neighbors have lost power. Southern California Edison has shut power off to prevent any further fires from erupting out here because the winds have been so strong, which is what, you know, created this whole thing to begin with. The winds, we had 99-mile-an-hour winds, and it sparked fires, and that's why it's been so uncontrollable all throughout Southern California.
And I know that a lot of people were just very shocked that the spread of these wildfires would even reach some of these areas. For you, was there any preparation that went into this event, or any shock really that you're still sitting with about the size of these wildfires?
It's just devastating. I mean, we were watching the news. It's nonstop here. That's all that's on is the news on the coverage. And it's neighborhood after neighborhood. You know, we woke up this morning to find out 1,000 homes have been burned in Palos Verdes, Pacific Palos Verdes, I'm sorry. And Studio City was burning last night, and Hollywood Hills. And these are areas we never thought were going to be affected by, you know, a wildfire like that. Pacific Coast Highway, Malibu, you know, all these areas that are landmarks are burned to the ground. Businesses, people, I mean, it's heartbreaking to watch their stories. A 91-year-old man has lost his home, and he barely got out with his life, and everything is gone. And it just breaks our heart to watch this, you know, on TV, and to think, you know, it could happen to us. So we all sit prepared to make sure this doesn't, you know, you hate to say it, you're glad it's not us, but thankfully right now it's not us.
Yeah, thankfully you're safe. You have your health, your home, and your family at this hour. You were mentioning those Santa Ana winds carrying those embers. I'm wondering if there's any fear that the fires could spread south.
Oh, 100%. You know, I'm up against Sycamore Canyon, which is a big canyon that surrounds us. You know, California is full of mountainous regions and canyons, and it takes one spark for a wildfire to occur. And we haven't had any measurable rain in months. And so everything is just, you know, dry timber. And, you know, that's why Southern California is Edison is being proactive and very frightening. We are all surrounded by greenery and things that could just, you know.
Your family have an evacuation plan in place? Is that something that you prepare for living there? Where we're going to go? What areas we believe will be safe areas for us to be holed up?
Well, I think that everybody has a plan. You know, usually the thing people think about Southern California is earthquakes. But, you know, it's the same thought with wildfires. You know, when this happens and you hear the people on TV, they're like, I got out with just my pets and the clothes on my back. And so, you know, when we're a little bit further away, we had a discussion the other night. What would we do? What would we take? So, yes, we already in our heads have thoughts of important papers, documents, our personal computers, clothes. I mean, people leaving with you know, 2 pairs of clothes thinking they're going to be back, and they come back and their houses are gone. I mean, it's just, yes. So we are prepared, you know, in our minds, mentally and physically. If it got to that place, we would be prepared and ready to go.
Yeah, and I'm wondering what it is that you are seeing. I see that you're inside, probably for good reason, with the smoke out there.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Does it seem like a ghost town where you are?
Well, it's a little bit clearer today, but I think that yesterday. I don't know if you're seeing any of the images, but it was just brown. And we have friends who live out closer to that area, and you can't even see the sun. It's completely blacked out. We can see in the distance the red and the brown and everything. It looks for a beautiful sunset, but it's not a sunset, it's a fire. And so the winds are wonderful in that they clear out all of that, but the winds are what's sparking this. It's preventing the airplanes from dumping water. They aren't able to get the giant airplanes to lift the water up to drop onto these wildfires because the winds have been so horrible. You can't even, fly airplanes above it.
Julie, how long have you called Southern California home now?
Well, I moved out here in 1986, and I've lived here since then.
I'm wondering, have you ever experienced anything of this magnitude, wildfires of this magnitude, if you've ever seen this?
Yes, well, I take they're mostly in like the up in the forest, the national forest. Having this occur where it occurred is imagined. I mean, you say all these famous people like Anthony Hopkins and John Goodman and all these other Paris Hilton, and they all lost their homes. Nobody imagined these homes, and that's just famous people. There's 1,000 people in just one area that have lost their homes to this fire, and nobody imagined this would occur.
It's really just devastating and heartbreaking.
It is.
Listen, thank you so much for taking time to speak with us this morning.
My pleasure,
our
Dan.
thoughts
Thank you.
are with you and your family and your friends there. Be safe.
Yes.
Thank you, Dan and Stephanie. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Hey, stay with us here after the break. The American public saying its final goodbyes to Jimmy Carter today. But the former president had a lasting impact, of course, in our community. And we'll talk about what he's done coming up soon. morning. Welcome back here to ARC Rochester. 9:36 this morning as America pays its final respects to former President Jimmy Carter. Right here, we're seeing that procession. His body is being brought to Washington National Cathedral here in D.C. right now. And we know that his service will be underway in just under 30 minutes here, starting at 10 o'clock, where President Biden is expected to deliver a eulogy. But America, again, paying its respects to a former leader here.
Yeah, and you'll be able to watch this full service live over on our sister station, 13 Wham ABC. That coverage will begin at 10 o'clock this morning. Now, both the former president and his wife, Rosalind, dedicated their lives to social justice and human rights, and through that service created the Jimmy and Rosalind Carter Work Project for Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, and so we want to take a look at the local impact here. Joining us now is President and CEO of the Greater Rochester Habitat for Humanity, Matthew Flanagan, to talk about Carter's legacy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Morning. Thank you for having me today.
Now, we know that Carter is definitely known for his post-presidency humanitarian work, and I know Habitat for Humanity was a big part of that as well. Do you want to just talk about the impact that him and Rosalind had on the organization?
Absolutely an amazing impact for two human beings. I heard somebody say the other day, it's amazing what you can cram into 100 years.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Their impact, I think the word I've used the most lately is immeasurable, right? The amount of work that they did across the globe is just so profound, and it's measured in terms of, for me, the love and respect that so many volunteers bring forward. Maybe it was Mr. Carter or Rosalind's story that inspired them, or some secondary impact from that, right? I mean, they were 35 years as volunteers for Habitat, 3 years on the international board.
How did their service shape Habitat to become the organization that it is today? Because I imagine an impact that they had, a lasting impact like that, is something you still see.
Right. When you have a leader the caliber of Mr. Carter, with the authenticity and that inner drive to be so respectful for whoever he's looking at the eyeball at that moment, if that doesn't impact you as a leader, I don't know what will. And that is shared not just by myself, but all of my friends across the network, the over 1,000 affiliates that there are in the U.S. There are those of us who met him briefly or not at all, and then those who knew him deeply. We're all inspired, and I think we'll all take a cue from his and her leadership and profound respect for people. How do you not?
Yeah, that is for sure. And he was hands-on, too. That's an important part of Habitat for Humanity. If you want to just go over what exactly the work with this organization entails.
Sure. So Habitat, in the broad stroke, we work with folks to help them have their first shot at home ownership. Our line is that we build community homes and support. Right? So we work with people who want to come through this process with us, partner family, and then have an opportunity to buy a house from us at a deeply discounted rate, affordable to them. So that's happening all across the globe right now in about 70 countries, right here in Rochester as well. So the Carters, when they kind of took it up a notch by creating what became the Carter Work Project, they didn't set out to do that. It kind of morphed. But he certainly saw a good thing when he saw it and led that forward. So in his years of the Carter Work Project, they worked with over 110,000 volunteers in 14 different countries, built over 4,000 homes across the globe. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. And he did this for decades. He did this for several years leading.
It truly is. And I've been on a couple of Carter Work projects. Unfortunately for me, they were the two right after he was unable to come any longer. Yeah. But I certainly have spent a lot of time around those who have led Carter Work projects. And really what was very interesting for those who led them in those years where he was most frail towards the end, his insistence on that the work that he and Rosalind did had to be actual and meaningful to the house. No photo ops here. So they were challenged to find what was he capable of doing that he would know still impacted the house. And each of those has their own funny stories, and it just tells me more about the legacy that he's left behind, right?
For sure. And he definitely wanted to make it clear that what he wanted to be remembered for was helping other people. I know his faith was a big part as well of how he led himself in life. So I think that's a really good goal. And as you were talking about the legacy as well that others want to aspire to.
Yeah. I think he really had a command of what it is to be a leader. Still be authentic, but also recognize that the unique platform that he was afforded, he was going to maximize that in every way possible within the constraints of his values, right? That platform. But what was funny, one of his famous outtakes would be, I had a Carter work project. He would tell you, you'd be at the audience, Garth Brooks still uses the line, and Trisha Yearwood, there's time for photo ops, that's at mealtime, and then there's time to build. So when we're building, don't come by looking for a picture, because that means you're not working and I'm not working. And to those who didn't agree with that and would show up and ask for a photo, there was something they called being cartered. So suddenly you would now be tasked with some other task on that house, because the photo wasn't going to happen and you were going to be put to work, and everyone said, don't get cartered.
Yeah.
Matthew, we're running low on time here, but we'd be remiss to not talk about the great work that the Greater Rochester Habitat for Humanity has done. Is there anything you would like to highlight?
Well, you know, I think it's that core of the volunteers. I always want to thank the community that supports us. I'm very proud of the numbers. This year we built 14 houses, 10 in Monroe County, 2 in Wayne and 2 in Ontario. Next year that's going to be 33 houses, with most of those in Monroe County, so 2 in Wayne and 2 in Ontario. And we can't do that without those. So I always want to just thank the community for their support, because without them, we can't do what we do. And I'm so blessed to see the eyes of the families that buy these houses from us directly. It is such a blessing to be in this position, and I can't do that without the community support. We can't do it without the community support. So true sense of gratitude, even on a day where we're sad about the loss of a great leader, but celebrating that he's reunited with his wife and
that legacy.
And his legacy. Right?
Thank you so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate it. If you at home would like to get involved with the Greater Rochester Habitat for Humanity, we'll post all of that information on our website, foxrochester.com, after the show this morning.
And still ahead here on ARC Rochester, we're continuing our coverage as America says goodbye to the 39th President, Jimmy Carter. We're back after this. 9:46 this morning. We are just minutes away, under 15, from the start of former President Jimmy Carter's national funeral happening at the Washington National Cathedral.
Yeah, and I believe we have a live image outside the cathedral there this morning. You see
the procession.
The procession has arrived. The hearse has arrived. You see members of the military, all there standing in honor of the former president, Jimmy Carter. That service, as Steph mentioned, state funeral, set to get underway at 10 o'clock this morning. Full coverage of that can be found on 13 WHAM, just over on the other channel, beginning at 10 a.m. You can see they're battling those winds out there, but standing strong, standing firm, all in honor of the former president.
Yeah, and we were just talking about in the last half hour even about Carter's legacy and the work that he did, not just as president, but also after his presidency, the humanitarian work that he dedicated his time and life to.
Yeah, and I believe in Washington, as you mentioned earlier, just earlier this week, both his son and grandson spoke about that legacy and how it is a lasting legacy and one that has impacted lives globally, especially with his work with Habitat for Humanity. I believe we have some sound from that.
All of us have been thinking about this day and planning for it for a long time, but it is obviously still hard for all of us. For us and my family, and I'm sure I can see on your faces for many of you, I appreciate that. But just know that while we mourn my grandfather's passing, I know in my heart, and you all do, that his legacy will live on, not only because of the millions of people that he touched across the globe, but very specifically because of your spirit and your knowledge and the work and the track record that you do every day.
And just to provide a little bit of background on the different events that have been happening leading up to this moment, his state funeral, that there was his grandson speaking about, it was at the Carter Center in Atlanta, in Georgia, just over the weekend. Family members and even employees just gathering there to remember Carter. We know that the Carter Center was established after his presidency, 1982, and so that lasting legacy really felt there. And we also heard from his son as well. I know one of the comments in general, I believe the grandson had actually made, talking about how just in 100 years, what a way to live 100 years. A lot packed in there, a lot of humanitarian
the work you can get done in that amount of time. I think we've got a little bit of sound from that as well.
But he was an amazing man, and he was held up and propped up and soothed by an amazing woman. And the two of them together changed the world. And it was an amazing thing to watch from so close and to be able to be involved in. And I thank you for your service.
Wondering now if we can just bring up that live image outside of the Washington National Cathedral. Cathedral there reserved for heads of state, former dignitaries for this purpose. Truly remarkable service that will be happening there today. We know President Biden will be delivering the eulogy. You can see the casket draped in the American flag in the back of that hearse, still parked out front of the cathedral. President Joe Biden again delivering that eulogy later this morning, just after 10 o'clock when that service gets underway. But the heads of state globally and from the U.S. that will be present. President-elect Donald Trump will be there. Former presidents Obama, Bush, and Clinton will all be present. Now there's a live look inside the cathedral, and you can see the number of people so far arriving for this service. You see the president-elect there making his way down with
First Lady
Melania Trump there, making their way to their seats for what will be.
Again, we have been taking a look at events leading up to this moment. We know that he was lying in repose at the Carter Center, I believe, until early Tuesday before making his trip down to Washington, where he lied in the state capitol rotunda as well. There being honored, people paying their respects, coming up and visiting as well.
Yeah, and we're going to give you that live image back up and try and talk you through some of what you will be seeing here in the church. Again, there is President-elect former VP Mike Pence seated to his right there. The number of people that will be in that cathedral today, I'm sure will be pretty remarkable given former President Jimmy Carter's storied and historic career. Again, the 39th President of the United States. Yes, you see former President Barack Obama there making his way into the cathedral. It will be truly a sight today to see the number of people and the number of faces, the dignitaries from around the world that will be present to pay their respects, bid farewell to the former president. Really something remarkable to see this morning.
For sure, and it is a testament to
Al Gore there,
yes,
shaking hands with former Vice President Al Gore, shaking hands with former President Barack Obama.
Yeah. It is a testament to not only the national reach, but global reach that Carter had during his presidency, but also afterwards. And again, more people expected to come in here, more leaders expected to come in here as his funeral gets underway, his state funeral happening in just 7 minutes.
Yeah, it'll be, again, truly something remarkable. For full and continuing coverage of this funeral, this state funeral in Washington, D.C., you can catch that starting at 10 o'clock on 13 Wham.
Stay with us. We're back after this. Welcome back. Time now for the results of our poll of the day. We asked you, how are you feeling about the winter that we've seen so far in Western New York?
We don't want to give you the answer quite yet. I want to discuss this just a little bit longer. We did give you several options here, a number of options, quite honestly. You were either loving the winter weather so far. You were kind of saying, yeah, it's fine, but, you know, the holiday season has passed. I'm over it at this point. You were asking, where is the real winter? Because we know we're several inches still under where we are with the snow count so far. And others say, you know, listen, I'm just ready for spring, which we know is 70 days away, Steph.
Not like I'm counting. Right?
No, but listen, you guessed the right number. That was very impressive this morning.
Well, to be fair, earlier in the week, I had heard someone else count down.
Oh.
So I just did some
You just did some quick math?
Yeah.
That's still impressive. So let's look at the poll, look at the results. Where do we stand? There it is. We like it.
More people
More
are with
than
me.
half of you saying we are ready for spring. Bring it on. We got a little way to go, though, people. We'll get there, and we'll get there together. Hey, that does it for us here on Fox Rochester this morning. Thanks so much for waking up with us. You can join us tomorrow morning over on the other channel, 13 Wham, starting at 4:57 a.m.
And also, besides having live coverage of President Jimmy Carter's funeral at 10 a.m., we also have more news coming up on 13 Wham News at midday. So we'll be sure to see you later on.